What if I told you there's a place where time warps, voices vanish, and people disappear without a trace? This isn't fiction. This is Hoya-Baciu Forest. And for centuries, it's kept a secret until now. Welcome to Ancient Echoes, where legends aren't just stories, they're warnings. There's a forest in Romania where sound vanishes, birds won't sing, compasses spin, and people just disappear. It's called Hoya-Baciu. For centuries, it's been whispered about in hushed tones by shepherds, soldiers, and scientists. Locals call it the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania. But the strangeness isn't just folklore. In 1968, a military technician captured something on film, a hovering, silent disc over the forest canopy. The Romanian government never explained it. Since then, what was once a regional mystery has become a global obsession. The first known legend of Hoya-Baciu came from a shepherd who vanished with 200 sheep. His name was lost, but his story wasn't. He entered the forest near dusk and never came out. No vanish, no wood, no trail. The villagers searched for days, but the forest was quiet, too quiet. Some said they heard him screaming, but the sound came from every direction at once. After that, people stopped entering the forest after dark, and the name Hoya-Baciu began to mean the forest of no return. Scientists began studying Hoya-Baciu in the 1960s. What they found defied logic. Soil samples from the clearing contained radiation levels higher than Chernobyl's exclusion zone. Trees grew with internal burns, as if scorched from the inside out. One tree wept a red sap. The locals said it was blood. And every recording device brought into the forest glitched, static, lost time. One camcorder jumped 15 minutes forward while the crew stood still. Whatever lives here doesn't follow our rules. On August 18th, 1968, Emil Barnia, a military technician, hiked into Hoya-Baciu with friends. He wasn't a believer, just a man looking for a quiet picnic. Around noon, the light changed. The sun dimmed. Shadows deepened. Then, without warning, a silver disc appeared above the treetops. It made no sound. Barnia snapped 4 photographs before it vanished. He handed the negatives to authorities. They were never returned. What we have today are copies, scratched, faded, but still unmistakable. It was the first time the Romanian government had been forced to acknowledge something strange was happening in Hoya-Baciu. In 2004, a Romanian researcher named Julian was mapping a GPS trail for hikers. After marking a loop around the clearing, he found that the path doubled back on itself. Physically, he had never turned, but his GPS showed a full loop twice. He checked the time. 2 hours had passed. His recorder still playing the same 2-minute bird song. When he reviewed the footage later, he noticed something worse. For a moment, just one frame, he could see himself standing behind the camera. In 2013, 5 students from Cluj set out to film a documentary about the forest. They brought drones, microphones, and emergency gear. They never finished the film. 3 returned, barely speaking. 1 had burns on his arms. The 4th was never found. The footage they recovered was strange. Long moments of static, and whispers, spoken in Hungarian, a language none of them spoke. Their final clip shows the group sprinting through the trees, but the timestamp doesn't move. It's stuck on 2:06 p.m. Forever. At the heart of Hoya-Baciu lies a clearing unlike anything on Earth. A perfect circle. No trees, no grass, no roots. Botanists have tested the soil dozens of times. There's nothing wrong with it. It just refuses to grow. Locals call it the Devil's Garden. Some say it's where the forest breathes. Others believe it's a landing zone for things that don't belong. Satellite imagery shows a magnetic anomaly centered on this clearing. Compasses spin, and if you stand in the middle too long, some say you'll hear your own name spoken in your voice. Between 1972 and 1980, Romanian military scientists conducted 6 secret expeditions into Hoya-Baciu. None of the findings were published, but one report was leaked in 1992. It described intelligence distortions inside the forest, devices reporting impossible altitudes and temperatures. One experiment showed a radio signal sent into the woods, returned with a voice, not a tone. The voice said, "Leave." The test team requested to end the mission. Their supervisor denied it. The next morning, the entire crew had left. All of their gear was still inside the camp, but the people gone. Modern hikers describe more than glitches. They speak of shadow figures just out of reach. Some report seeing themselves walking ahead, only to blink and see no one there. Others hear their mother's voice or their own calling from the trees. These aren't hallucinations. Cameras have caught faint silhouettes in the distance. That don't show up on thermal. One man claimed a shadow followed him for 3 days, but never cast a shadow of its own. Paranormal experts, scientists, and skeptics have all tried to explain Hoya-Baciu. Some say it's a magnetic vortex, nature's glitch in the matrix. Others believe it's a psychological mirror, a place that reflects the worst parts of you back at yourself. But the oldest theory may be the truest, that this forest is alive, and it chooses who gets to leave. Every year, more researchers enter. Fewer return with answers, but they all say the same thing. It doesn't want to be understood. And maybe that's the only truth we'll ever get. You've just explored one of Earth's most terrifying mysteries. If you made it this far, you're different. Subscribe to Ancient Echoes for weekly journeys into the places history forgot. Until next time, don't listen when the forest calls your name.